Everyone, how's it going? Welcome to part 2 of the interesting collab. So it's been a week, and part 2 this Thursday brings another unit, another arc, another banner, you know, that normal stuff that we'll look at soon. And there are a few updates to the event, and today I just want to check, do what we normally do with the unit and the arc. We'll do that in a second, and look at the event, any updates that's been going on, and well, everything says in the description if you want to read that. But I have been messing around with Lenneth Valkyrie quite a lot recently, mostly in arena, so later in the stream we will definitely be looking more into Lenneth Valkyrie, and that should be interesting because I do have her fully built and everything now. Hopefully we can get Freya later on because that'll be interesting, but let's get right into it. First of all, as we always do, Freya and the Allfather Odin arc. So I haven't properly looked at these two, but I do know that Freya is a mostly dark and thunder mage, and I do really like mages. She does have two unique magic skills, so I'm looking forward to those and seeing how they perform, because I just like mages usually in general, even though they don't require much gameplay, you know, you just kind of leave them to cast a magic and then do their thing. But I just like mages in general. In most games they're just more fun to me. But let's have a look at Freya. I haven't properly looked at her yet, so we're going to be doing that now. She's a god type, and Lenneth Valkyrie should have been a god type, honestly, because honestly she is like a god or whatever in the game or whatever, so it's weird that she was a soldier type. But Freya is a god type. It's just a bit weird because it doesn't look like a god, you would think. Just look like a normal human unit. So stats are looking pretty good. Obviously you can see high intelligence. Mine's pretty good too. One problem I'm seeing, first of all, she's got weak to stun, which can be frustrating. Her absolute resistances are interesting. She's got -20 to earth and dark. I'm trying to think of when that would matter, but honestly, I mean, she's got +30. You know what's funny? +30 to ice and light. And currently the meta in arena is obviously Summer Sarah, who is ice, and most people use Prefect of God Mia, who is light, and Lenneth Valkyrie is also light, so decent attribute resistances, I think, but having weakness to earth and dark could be a problem. It's fine though. Helmet resistance, I think the only thing to really notice is the weak to stun. I haven't looked at her paid accoutrements yet. We'll be doing that once we get to it, after we've looked at the unit and the arc. I've heard that they're pretty good, but I haven't looked myself because I didn't want to spoil anything for myself, so it'll be my first time looking at them properly once we look at them later on. I heard the robe is decent, I think, but I don't know anything about it yet. My cat is being incredibly noisy. It's kind of the worst timing for this. Litter tray's literally right next to me. Oh my god, you launched this litter right in my face, you pain. So her skills, she isn't going to be a physical DPS, okay? She isn't really going to do any physical damage at all because she's mostly focused on being a mage. But her special's interesting. I'll look at her skills anyway. They're just normal combo attacks, which means she's not actually with her skills, but don't expect her skills to do very much. You're probably not going to be using them because I don't think she has anything in her kit to help with her skills at all. So unlike Shift Lagrabos, who has a trait to boost his skill damage by a lot, and he's non-attribute with his skills, it's not like that. Freya doesn't have anything like that. She's mostly focused on stupid cat, mostly focused on special damage, but mage too. I think mage is going to be her main focus. One thing that's interesting about her special to me is I can see it being quite good, but it's going to require testing too. Powerful attack to all enemies, damage cap plus 2 million, which is a lot of numbers, I know, but the problem with it is her special's only one hit, a single hit, but the damage cap can be pretty crazy on it. I'm hoping that it has enough damage modifiers to be able to cap most of the time, and the good thing about this is that it's also non-attribute, so you can use her special against literally any boss you want to, even a boss that has 100 resistance to everything, because it's non-attribute special. So she has some potential with her special, but to me, I don't really use specials on units. I haven't been recently for quite a while because I haven't felt like I've needed to use them, and I'm just not a fan of them right now. So when the cat would finish, do you be quiet, Mister? Trait 1, Thunder and Dark magic attack damage 50%. That's good by itself, and Thunder and Dark magic, she's only going to be using those two elements, but that's okay to me. And it's kind of good that she has two elements and not just one, because, you know, some mages like Shift Eliza has one element, and there are similar mages that only have one element, which kind of limits their usage. But the thing that's different with Shift Eliza is the fact that she's got the anima to reduce their resistances, so it's kind of a different story. But a lot of units that have focused on one element can't really be used in that many stages. But the fact that she's got Thunder and Dark, we have more Dark mages than Thunder. We have like 0 Thunder mages. Obviously we've got Lenneth who has Thunder magic, but that's kind of it. And probably Shift Lagravos has some Thunder magic and Magia, probably, but I don't count those as an actual Thunder mage, and Freya is more of a focused Thunder mage that we haven't gotten in the game yet, so that's what I'm excited to see, because we haven't actually... what I wanted to have was I wanted to have a unit that's kind of like the mono element mages that we get, like Amelia or Shift Eliza or anyone like that is focused on Thunder for their magic and do insane Thunder damage for magic, but I just like those because they usually end up being strong in PvP, but still good. When using all enemy attack magic, boost damage cap based on casting time. So this is an interesting thing, and people may not like this, and this doesn't boost your damage, so it's not a big deal in PvP. If you were to use it in arena, then you can still put on casting speed, and it's not going to hurt your damage at all. It's just if you want the maximum damage cap, then you don't want any casting speed at all. And if you look at her kit, which we will soon, she doesn't have any skills for casting speed, because her maximum damage cap, she can only get that if she has 0 casting speed, which is very slow and it's probably going to be not very fun to use. But I think what I'm thinking is, as long as you're pre-casting, the first cast you use is going to be slow, obviously, but if you cast that magic and then instantly try and cast another one, then it's going to be in the queue, and by the time your first magic's finished, the animation, it should have casted the second one straight after, so it shouldn't be a big deal. But I haven't tried it. I would expect it to be the case, but it's an interesting concept because it's kind of like, I see what they're doing. They're trying to balance mages in a way and make it so they take longer to cast but do more damage, because we've got Lenneth, who is probably the best mage we've got, and the reason why he's so good is because his casting is like instant. He's very fast, and he can stack multiple different magic skills, and a unit like Freya can't do that because she can only use all enemy attack magic, which is basically just the non-stacking magic, and only Thunder and Dark magic, so it's kind of limited. And she can't have the casting speed, so I don't think it's going to be very fun, but I still think it's going to be massive damage. Magic damage taken minus 30% and special damage 50%. That's great, honestly. So she has 50% Thunder and Dark magic damage, she's got some good damage caps, and she takes less magic damage, so if the enemy somehow gets their magic off first, which they might do, especially if they're using someone with fast casting speed, then she's going to be taking less damage from enemy magic, which is useful. And 50% more special damage is going to help a little bit if you want to use a special, which you could do. You could just go for a full special damage build if you want, but reason why that's difficult is the trait 2, which we'll get to, is at the bottom. It's an interesting trait. Battle start when another ally has god type, so yeah. Give unit grand aura and revive effects, no time limit on effects. So I think what this means is it gives unit, so that means it gives Freya that buff. It doesn't buff another ally, it just means that you need to have another ally in your team to be a god type. Even though Freya's a god type, it doesn't count herself as the god type because it says when another ally has god type. So it's something to think about because Grand Aura is something you don't really want to miss out on, and I don't think she's going to have aura in her skills, so you're going to be missing out on quite a bit of damage if you don't have a god type ally in the team. So that's something you got to think about, is who is your other god type going to be in your current team. You're going to have Freya, and then you're going to have someone else that's a god type, and if you think about it, it's not a big deal because you could just put on Mimicry God and be completely fine, probably. Just shove that on Spirit Maiden Theria and she'll be fine, probably. I would think so. And the interesting part about this trait is the final part here. Boost special damage and damage cap based on combo hit count. Pretty crazy. Maximum damage 500% and damage cap, a lot of numbers, I can't read that many zeros, at 750 plus hits. Pretty sure that's 10 million. So here's the thing, it's interesting because obviously the maximum potential here is pretty high. You've got the special here, which is a combo attack to all enemies, which is not an attribute, right? And it gets plus 2 million damage cap just there, just for the special. It's one hit. And then you've got this trait, which can give you a maximum of plus 10 million damage cap. So then you've got, from all that, you've got like 12 million damage cap for your special against all enemies. The only problem with that is you need to have 750 hits. And that's not easy to reach if you're just casually playing. You kind of have to build a team specifically to reach that combo. And to do that, there are ways to do it, like obviously probably the best way is to spam normal attacks and put on impact skills, like using X bets and spamming normal attacks with impact 1, 2 and 3, you know, that would be a good way. And another way would be using time stop units like Lelouch with dual wield and his time stop. That can help with combos. And the same with Guardian Angel Luke Hale, that can help with combos too, but, you know, would you really want to use those? You could, if you really wanted to, but if you think about it, majority of enemies, at least easy enemies, are going to be dead by that time, and if you want just an instant use special, this unit isn't going to do that. It kind of requires a lot of, you know, preparation if you want to reach this maximum damage for a special. So I think this is interesting and I can see it being pretty good, but it's just the thing is I don't see myself ever doing it, because when would I ever want to do that, you know? When would I ever need a special against all enemies that does 12 million damage and want to get 750 combo hit count, you know? It's kind of difficult to think of where I want to use that specifically. But one case potentially could be if you've got, I don't know, a stage where there's a bunch of enemies that has like 10 mil health or something, but again, you could just use a unit with a very fast DPS on their skills instead and just do that and make it a lot easier, you know. So I don't see myself really using her special that much, but I will definitely want to try it. If we can get her, that would be interesting to try properly, but we'll see. So, from these traits you can kind of see what she's trying to be. She's trying to be a Thunder and Dark Mage focused on slow casting speed and special damage, and that's kind of what this unit is about. Let's have a look at the skills. She's got 2 unique magic skills, which I like new magic skills. I wish they were on the limited arc, but they're not. That would have been really fun, but it's not. Valorizer we've seen before is not really that great. It's okay. Gravity Blessing, they use the same icon. It's kind of lazy, but all they added was Divine. Powerful Thunder attack to all enemies, damage cap plus 5,000. I can't really show this yet, but I will definitely be trying this out later when we try her out, because even if we don't get the unit, we can try her out in the testing stage, and that'll be fun. Abyssgate, don't really need to say anything about that because we've seen it many times before. Cosmic Spear, powerful dark attack to all enemies. This is probably the only magic I've seen her use properly. This one looks interesting. I don't know the hit counts or anything on these two, but I think they'll be fun to use because they're just new magic skills and new animations, and they cost the same MP. So maybe there's probably one of them's going to be better for DPS than the other one, but we'll have to try those out later because they're just new magics that we'll have to see. But MP up max, magic up max, arcane up 4, intelligence and MP. She should have a lot of MP, it looks like. Got esoteric up 2. Yeah, look at what she's got. A lot of MP, intelligence, more MP and intelligence and MP and mind. Good stats. Critical at 3, advanced aim vitals and proud force. Good crits. I'm assuming obviously her thunder and dark magic should be able to crit. I'm pretty sure it does. And human geyser. So human geyser, we've seen that on Magia, and that is why he was a super strong mage in arena for quite a while, and he can still be used right now because of human geyser. But if you look at the current meta in arena and the current units we're using, there are a lot more units now that are not a human type anymore. Like we have Suzaku, who's a machine type, and obviously Myron is a machine type, but not many people use him. We've got Prefect of God Mia, who's a god type. So those types of units, they're not gonna, you know, get harmed by human geyser. But units like Summer Sarah, obviously human geyser is going to be great against her, and potentially anyone that's using like Spirit Maiden Thuria or someone like that. I still think it's going to be good, and human geyser is probably mostly for the tank teams, I would think. So for this reason, I could definitely see her damage being decent in PvP, and I don't know what it would be in arena, but I still don't think it's going to be on the same level as Amelia, you know? Because if you look at Amelia, her damage is just so high, and she's got a lot of unique skills and the MP regen and stuff like that, so I'm not comparing the two, I'm just saying in terms of damage, I don't think Freya's going to have as much damage, definitely not, but she still has some good stuff here. I think if I were to use Freya, I'd probably mostly use her in PvE against bosses and certain waves, probably just to clear it fast, I guess, and easily clear a bunch of waves. That's probably where I'll use her most, but there is a chance that she could be good in guild versus guild, but we just don't know yet. There's a chance, because you could put on a lot of casting speed on her if you want, but that's going to take a lot of SC compared to a normal mage who would have casting speed on them. Wisdom protection, whatever, auto magic barrier, continuous magic barrier. I think she's going to be able to tank some magic decently well, at least. Auto advance circle, kind of expected. Auto heal. Auto heal is a good and bad thing, because if you're using her in PvP, then you may not want this because she's gonna lose MP when she gets hit, and obviously when this activates. So if you want her to be more reliable with MP and using her magic, then you may not want this, but I still think it's a good one to have, especially in PvE. Sometimes this is amazing, and especially if one thing that I wish that could happen is a tank unit with auto heal. That would be so crazy if you think about it, like some way to continuously regen MP and they have auto heal and they can tank a lot of damage. That would just be pretty crazy. I think that'd be fun. Moonlight 2, more intelligence, Thunder Mega Boost, Thunder Critical Neo, and Dark Mega Boost and Critical Neo. So the Mega Boost give more damage and damage cap. Critical Neo have a chance of dealing critical damage and it gives more damage cap. So pretty nice that they can crit and some good damage increases. No complaints there. I think this is good. No attribute attack raise is only going to help for a special pretty much. There's not really another reason why this is here, unless you want her normal attacks to be able to regen more MP if you put on Goddess Kiss, but I probably wouldn't recommend that at all, because that would probably require more of a specific build with a non-attribute weapon, probably a staff, and Thaumaturgy ring or something. I probably wouldn't do that. Archangel's Blessing is just more MP. Movable objects is useful to have. I pretty much this on every mage, you kind of need it. Automatic casting, seen this before. Basically, your casting speed is going to be slower, but you're going to do a lot more damage and have more damage cap. So it's there if you like it. If you don't, up to you. But sometimes you would remove this, like if you're using this unit in PvP, you might want to remove it because the MP cost is just too much. Rope High Boost and Mega Boost is nice to have, I guess. That's physical damage taken, more mind, and magic damage is okay. Special Boost 3, it's going to help with us, especially if you want to use it, if you care about it at all. Mind Pierce, I do like this a lot. Basically equivalent to piercing, but for magic. That's basically what it is. Chance to half enemy mind and deal damage. I just like that it exists on her kit, because that's going to help mostly for PvP if you want to use her in there, but it's okay. And then we get to the unique skills down here. All these unique skills. Kind of similar to what Lenneth Valkyrie had. Boost mind, intelligence, and MP. It increases it based on how high your enhancement level is, so as long as you have her in 6 enhanced, this is going to be the maximum boost. That's kind of all you need to know about this. It's probably the same for the other ones as well. 10% MP, 20% intelligence and mind is good because it's stackable stats, and if you look at all her stats that she's got, I think her intelligence and MP should be pretty high. That's what I'm seeing. Seems pretty good to me, I think, from these skills. And boost damage and damage cap, plus 20% damage, 3000 damage cap, just a little bonus, I guess. And more damage cap to non-god type enemies. And thing about this, less damage to god type enemies. So the one problem I'm thinking is that she isn't going to do well against Prefect of God Mia, because she can tank magic pretty well and she's a god type, so I don't think Freya's going to do that well against Prefect of God Mia if you're attacking those in PvP. But if you put on God Geyser, maybe that could be good enough. I don't know, because we do have God Geyser and Machine Geyser on arcs, I believe, so that's an option. You could do that if you want. Draw less enemy attention, we like seeing that. That's always going to be useful in PvP content. And chance to nullify physical attack damage taken is just just useful. So those are all the unique skills, all the skills in general. Then we get to the sick enhanced skills, which are just basic skills. You get more damage cap for thunder magic and dark magic, and non-stacking magic, which includes all non-stacking magic, and then less damage taken. So what I've seen from her kit right now, I think it looks good to me. Decent damage, honestly. Just checking everything again. Yeah, good damage caps. Could have been higher, but mages are still decent. Less damage taken, a lot of stats for intelligence and MP. I think it looks good to me, for sure. Her damage obviously is not going to compare to Amelia or units like that, but she's got human geyser, which is great, and could potentially make her useful against tank teams if you want, and that would be good. Yeah, I just think this looks good to me. What you could do is put on a bunch of crit and aim vitals and do a lot of crit damage, and I could see some potential with, she could do some decent damage. I just don't know how much. She doesn't have magic aura, which increases damage but makes magic cost more MP. She doesn't have that, and she doesn't have any casting speed, like I said earlier. No casting speed skills at all. So, at least what I've seen, this kit, all these skills are actually really good. I like these skills. And these traits are good too. It's just the way that she is, people may not like, because she's mostly focused on doing incredibly slow casting magic, and people may not like that. But the good thing is that she's going to be the strongest mage in the game in terms of damage cap, because she's going to be the highest damage cap mage. But don't get that confused with DPS, because that's a different story. Lenneth is still going to be the best mage for DPS, and he's got fast casting speed, he got his 6th enhanced recently, he's still going to be probably the best one. But Freya, I think her damage cap is like 110,000 damage cap or something, and you can increase that even further if you want. I think it looks good to me. She's not bad, I just think the slow casting speed kind of makes her more of a boring unit to use, and people may not like it at all. But the good thing about this is you can still increase her casting speed in PvP, because the slow casting speed, you don't really need that in PvP, because this trait 1 is just for damage cap. If it increased damage 2, then it would have been a different story. Like, if it was the slower casting speed you have, the more damage you do as well as damage cap, then that would have been different. But I still think it's good, honestly. Now let's look at the arc next. I haven't looked at this properly, but I think it's another decent arc, honestly. I think I just had a brief look at the skills and the trait. The trait, I think, yeah, just from looking at it, I think it's going to be focused trait on Freya, definitely. Yeah, because you've got high MP and high intelligence on the stats. It's pretty nice. Robe equipped, intelligence 15%, MP 10%. It's going to help a little bit, not too much, but the MP, sometimes that can be useful. When casting, attack magic can't be interrupted by most attacks. Whatever. I mean, the unit is going to have a movable object already, so I guess that's fine. I mean, what I'm thinking about is, does that apply to physical attacks? Like, if the mage is taking a physical attack, they can't be interrupted by the physical attacks. That'd be nice. Damage taken minus 25%. So, the thing about this is, you take less damage when you're casting. Makes me think, really does. Reason being is because she has incredibly slow casting speed, right? So she's going to be in that queue of casting for a long time, and as long as you keep telling her to cast a new magic, she's always basically going to be casting something. So, not being able to be interrupted by most attacks, and you take a lot less damage when you're casting something, and she's got slow casting speed. That could be a good synergy, potentially. So, that's quite good. Boost magic damage cap each wave. Gradually boost effect. Maximum damage cap 2750 at 10 seconds. And when attack magic is cast, reset the effect. So, interesting. Basically, it gradually boosts the damage cap of your magic, of the next magic you're going to use. And then when you use one, it resets the damage cap back to 0. And basically starts the countdown again. So, this is not going to be useful at all for Lenneth because casting speed is fast. This is only really going to be helpful to Freya and potentially any other mage that is just only focused on non-stacking magic, because there's going to be some delay in there. But if you're using Lenneth, then he is mostly focused on spamming as many magic attacks as possible, so he isn't going to benefit from this at all really. But Freya could benefit from the damage cap a little bit, so that's just a little bonus. When attack magic is cast, reset the effect. Yeah, excludes magic that regularly deals damage. Right, so it's a good trait, gives you intelligence and MP, and can't be interrupted by most attacks, take less damage, and gradually more damage cap, so it's overall just an okay trait. The only thing it doesn't really give is magic damage on the trait, so if you're looking for magic damage on an art trait, this isn't going to be the one you're going to use. So, something to think about. It's an okay trait. I could potentially use it. I could see myself using it maybe, but not that much. Then we get to the learnable skills, which has some interesting skills to it as well. Kind of similar to the other limited arc as well, which I still don't have, but I would like to get them both if possible. We just need a lot of luck with this banner, and all collab banners, obviously. Int down evasion, magic snipe, we've seen those before I believe. Resist magic is a new one, kind of similar to the resist damage from the other limited arc in part 1, but the same for magic. So magic damage taken -5% for 3 SC is just kind of useful to have, and since it's a unique skill, you can use it on anyone, and I just think that's going to be really good. So I like it. It's not that much of a difference, only -5% magic damage taken, but it's cheap and you can stack it, so that's the reason why I think it's good. And then we got 2 other noteworthy skills down here. Is magic weak point boost, so when you're hitting an absolute weakness, 30% more magic damage. It's kind of expensive, it's 8 SC, so I probably wouldn't use it in most scenarios, and we don't have that many mages, so there aren't really that many mages that could benefit from this that much. So I probably wouldn't really use it, honestly, because 8 SC, yeah, it's just a bit expensive for me, and you got to hit a weakness as well, so I just think it's overpriced, but you could use it. Thunder Mega Boost is a good one, but the problem with this is, who's gonna use it? Who? One person that comes to mind is Lenneth if you're using him for Thunder Magic, but that's it. Because if you think about how many Thunder Mages we've got, hardly any. Literally, hardly any at all. So, for that reason, it's not as great as you think, because not many units can currently use it, but maybe in the future there could be more mages that could use this a lot more, like a unit that can have double hits and can do Thunder Magic but doesn't have Thunder Mega Boost for some reason. Then it would be useful in the future, but for now, Thunder Mega Boost isn't super useful because we can't really benefit from this skill on that many units. Only really Lenneth if you're using him for Thunder Magic, but that's kind of it. And I believe Freya already has Thunder Mega Boost, so you don't really need it on her. So I think the learnable skills are okay. They're not that crazy, but they definitely have good learnable skills. I think Resist Magic and Thunder Mega Boost are the two ones that I like the most. Probably Resist Magic the most, honestly, because Thunder Mega Boost can't really use that much, but good learnable skills, a decent trait as well. The Archive reward is a Light Spear. Why is it a Light Spear? Don't know, honestly, because this is an arc trait, an arc that's specifically for a mage, Freya, and she's getting a Light Spear. It's weird. Light attack damage 10% when physically attacking, enemy defense minus 10% deal damage. It's okay. I probably wouldn't really use it. It's not really anything special, so don't really care about that spear. But in general, this arc, not terrible. Definitely a good one to have if you can manage to get it from tickets or daily pools or something. I still think it's going to be good to have, and you shouldn't be mad about it. Would I rather have the unit or the arc in part 2 banner? I'm not sure yet. Obviously I would like to have both. For fun, I think unit definitely, but for your account overall probably the arc, but hard to tell really. I think they're both solid. Freya, she's good, gonna be a good mage definitely. Even if you don't like her, she's gonna be a good mage. Even if she's not that fun, I still think she's going to be a good unit to have and use for a long time, considering mages usually last a very long time in this game compared to physical DPS units, definitely. And this arc, I think it's okay. So, that's all I can really say about this banner. I think it's okay. I still think it's pretty solid, honestly. If I were to compare it to part 1, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell because Lenneth Valkyrie has had a lot more testing over the past week, so we kind of know how good she is now. But with Freya, we don't really know how good she can be, but what I know for sure is she's a mage, and mages are usually very nice to have, and are more long-term units than physical DPS units. But the good thing about Lenneth Valkyrie is that she can be a tank as well, and that's kind of the difference. I think Lenneth Valkyrie DPS definitely going to fall off eventually, but Freya's DPS or damage is probably going to last longer than Lenneth Valkyrie, but Lenneth Valkyrie does have some supportive skills and she can tank damage, so I think they both got their own benefits, you know, so I think they're good units. We'll talk more about them later. Obviously at the conclusion at the end of the stream I'll kind of talk about them both, but let's have a look at the trading space because we need to look at her paid equipments, which I haven't seen yet. So, Collab Credential 1 was for Lenneth Valkyrie. I did get her accessory because I just think it's amazing, and I'm currently using her in Arena, which I will be trying out later on today. Towards the end, I will be trying her out in Arena, Lenneth Valkyrie. Freya's equipment, she's got a robe and an accessory. I haven't seen them yet, so I don't know what they are like, but I heard they're pretty decent, I think, but I don't know yet, so let's have a look. She could have had a staff, but apparently they want her to have a spear for some reason, because the arc, limited arc, has a spear. Kind of funny. So, good stats, honestly, 50 MP. You like seeing MP on a robe, because more MP, the better. Just gonna allow you to spam more magic skills. Defense, mind, and intelligence. Okay. The traits. Thunder Dark, non-stacking net damage cap. 6,000. 6,000's a lot. That's a lot. For sure. 6,000's just a lot. I can't really say more than that. When casting magic, damage taken minus 25%. Right. That kind of synergizes with her limited arc too. Draw less enemy attention. Okay. And 5 earth and dark resistance, which does help. Honestly, from reading this, it's a very good robe, but the problem with this is it doesn't give magic damage. It just gives damage cap and take less damage and draw less enemy attention. It's still useful, but it doesn't give you more damage. So if you want more damage, you don't need this robe, but if you care about the damage cap, and taking less damage and drawing less enemy attention, then this could be great. Or if you just only care about the damage cap, then yes, this would be the best option for you for sure. Looks good to me. What about the accessory? Not sure. MP, Intelligence, Mind, okay, good stats. Thunder and Dark, attack, magic, damage, 25%. That's great. Just by itself, already great, because it's an accessory. And it gives 25% more damage. I like that. Special damage, 50% as well. Good stuff. When magically attacking, enemy mind minus 10% of deal damage. Okay, I see. So, this accessory is more focused on if you care about her damage. So, if you care about her damage, and that's it, then I would recommend this accessory over the robe. But this robe is good too. It's just mostly for the damage cap, I think. That taking less damage and drawing less enemy attention can be useful in PvP as well, potentially, but not as much as the accessory in my opinion, because if you're using her for casting magic, then this accessory is going to be increasing her damage by 25%, and I just think that's great. And when magically attacking, enemy mind minus 10% deal damage just helps with damage as well, so I think, personally for me, I would rather go for the accessory because we do have other robe options available. And this is mostly for damage, but it really depends on how she performs, I think. One thing to remember as well is the damage cap is really only going to benefit you in PvE, so if you care about her PvE damage caps and damage for PvE against waves and stuff, then you could get the robe, but I don't know. They're both good, honestly. I would probably recommend... I can't really recommend one over the other. I think I would say get one depending on where you're going to be using her the most. So I would probably wait for the moment and not get one yet, and just kind of test her out, or wait for other people to test her and see how good she performs. If it's found that she's mostly for PvE, then I guess this robe's going to be the best option for the damage cap, I think. But even in PvP, this robe can help a little bit because you take less damage and draw less enemy attention, which can help for PvP a bit. And honestly, I think this robe would be quite good in guild versus guild. I think it would be very good for that. In arena, not as much, mostly guild versus guild, because since it's guild versus guild is always on auto, drawing less enemy attention and taking less damage when casting, I just think it's great. So yeah, they're both good. I just think the fact that this is an accessory makes it probably better in my opinion, but they're actually both solid. So, Collab medal trading space has now been updated to include Freya and the new arc, and I'm at 81 medals right now, so I'm slowly building up medals for these units and arcs. It's just a problem with this though, is even when I get to 200 medals, that's not enough to pity everything, so may end up becoming that I can't get everything from this collab, or it will just end up being a lot of summons. I don't know yet, but keep saving your medals, because Freya and the new arc is here. Don't pity anything from this, even if you've got 200 or 250 right now, just save them, because there's still a part 3 and part 4 coming soon, so save those for the moment. Good equipment, good unit and arc, I think. That kind of covers everything about the unit and arc, so I guess we can go over to summons in a second, because I actually still need to go look at the trading space quickly for the event. I'll probably just have a look at the event now, because they have updated the event a bit. Event Training Space does include Part 2 tickets, so I'm getting those. Now I have 17 tickets, I think. A prism as well, might as well get it. Sticker, just get everything. I've been farming this quite a bit, but obviously not enough, because I still need a lot more points. Yeah, I'll just get all that stuff later. Mission rewards, if you go to event, they did add a lot more event mission rewards, a lot, basically doubled, so now you need 180,000, which is a lot, yeah, but we do get a lot of orb recoveries, and as long as you're farming this a lot, you'll be fine, so, yeah, that's good. I do like these materials that are here, so let's do summons now, because I think I'm ready for it. I don't have a plan yet, we're just going to be seeing how it goes, but obviously, tickets first. We've still got the summer banners, but that's on for another week. Part 2 tickets, I got 17, I've already used all my Part 1 tickets. We're just looking for anything new. Obviously I would like Freya and the Ark, but just have to see what the game gives us, I guess. We'll do these 7 first. If we can at least get one new thing today, I'll be happy with that. As long as we're getting one new thing every time I do a few of these summons, I'll be happy with that, at least. Because getting anything new is just a good thing. Gold and a Freya with everyone is usually a good sign, but I'm not getting trolled by the game, so don't get any hopes up. We've seen it happen before. I always say this, but it's not a guaranteed red when it looks good, you know, because 1 animation, 2 animation, 3, there has to be a red, there can't not be. You'll be lying if there wasn't. It's a unit. If it's Freya, I'll be surprised, but I don't have any expectations. Because it's only the first 2 summons on a ticket, so 3 reds, something new. No new things, that's quite surprising. I really thought there would be at least one new thing from one of those 3, but at least there was some reds. There was a small chance we could have gotten the unit and the Ark from there, but obviously that's not going to happen, is it? Kind of my plan is to be doing a few summons, hopefully get either the unit or the Ark first, and then try and get the second thing that I don't get from the daily paid single pulls. This 10 ball, by the way, looks terrible. I don't think there's a red in here. Definitely no red. Unless there's animations. But even so, can't say for sure. 3 is the highest amount of animations, but it's not a guaranteed red. There is a red though. Okay. Only there's 2. 1 dupe and another dupe. Great. Wow, how did I know? Dupes are pretty common. They're way too common. I hate seeing dupes. It's always a disappointment. But honestly, getting 5 reds from those tickets isn't terrible. I just wish that something was new. I wish we need as many new things as possible if we want to get every single thing from this collab. And that's kind of difficult. The fact that there's 4 banners just makes this one's a skip. Yeah, no reds, it's just a 2-song summon. This collab is going to be quite painful probably for the majority of people, because it's going to be difficult to get every single thing. Would be nice. I've been trying to build up some more crystals, and I have been doing that. After we've done the step gacha, this lap 1. Seriously, nobody showing up again? So blue is a skip, there's nobody. I'll be using some free crystals after this just to build up some pity for the medals and hopefully get at least one thing, I would hope. And then the final one on lap 1. Hopefully a red, but I don't think so, honestly. Freya gold is usually a good sign, but not always, because sometimes it trolls you and makes it look good, but it's not. One animation is something, still a red, okay. Something new, please. It's not new. Damn. Oh, come on. I've had so many reds, but there's not a single new thing. You would think, after so many reds, you would think there would at least be something new. But no. Now the step gaches are more expensive, we can move over to normal crystals, which I still have quite a few, so I'm not mad about using some of these, but I would like to get at least one new thing as soon as possible, but there's no guarantee. I'm just going to be doing a few of these. If we don't get anything at all, then I guess we're going to be saving for part 3 and part 4. I was going to say this looks bad, but considering it's a gold, it's not as bad as I thought. Still waiting for when a red shows up just to make it feel better that I know it's a guaranteed red, but the stress of knowing that it's not a guaranteed red because it could just stay gold. There's a red. Can you be new? Please, something. It's only one. Obviously a dupe, I expected that. Just keep going. More medals the better, but I would really like to get something new right now, please. It's a gold. Right. Honestly, we're getting lucky with the reds, but not lucky with the rate up at all. Don't screw me. One animation is a red, but one doesn't give me hope. Honestly. Freya? Don't think so. If I were to guess, who would it be? I don't know. We have to see. That rhymes. I did that on purpose. Goroth. Gonna do another one. And then I'm gonna check how many we're done, because I feel like I've done too many. Actually, we can't really check, because the medals is combined. Another blue. Damn it, this one's bad. I'm still gonna watch it. If there's no animations or only one, then I'm just gonna skip anyway. Skip. Because I knew. One more. I'll leave it there. For the moment. Zekers. Gold. Right. I don't have any hope right now. I really don't. But good news is we can still test out the unit from the testing stage, even when we don't get the unit right here. So, yeah. Only one. Another day, another dupe. Another summon, another dupe. Another red. Dupes are bad. They should have better rate ups, I swear. How many do we have left? Enough to do more summons, I guess. Ideally you want to spend most of your crystals on part 4. Or at least once part 4 releases, because then you can decide on who you want. I like saving 90,000, just in case. The Rhea, can you be to gold? Right. There has to be a red in here. There's no red. I'm leaving out this window. Hat, yeah, there's a red. There's no way there's not a red. Like, when have you ever seen this and not be a red, you know? No extra animations, I don't know what it is. Why is there only one? I was really hoping there was going to be something more than one. There's an arc. I'm happy with that, honestly. Because it's something new. And it's something I can have. So, I'm happy with that one, honestly. Considering we've got one new thing, maybe I should just stop there for the moment. But am I like that? I don't know. The big brain play is to keep doing these daily gachas until I get the unit, but just for you guys, I'm going to be doing a few single summons until we get a red. And if once that single red is not the unit, we're going to be stopping and going straight over to the showcasing part. Considering we don't have the unit, whatever. We can still try out the unit in the testing stage, completely fine. Hoping that there's going to be a new animation and it's going to be a unit, but now, no. I'm just glad Billy's got one new thing. I didn't expect to get an arc, honestly. Would I rather have the unit or the arc? Honestly, I don't know. I can't really say for sure because I can't want to get everything anyways. So, yeah. See, when the screen goes white, like right there, it could either go to the unit or it goes to the orb. And if it goes to the orb, you know there's nothing, but it could just show up as a unit right now. It won't. I'll keep going. I said I was going to get a single red and not care what it is, but I swear, if you are the limited arc a second time, I'm going to be really upset. Incredibly upset. Like, that would be the worst thing you could possibly do. Man, we used up all our red luck earlier, didn't we? Yes, indeed we did. Because now there's no reds at all. It disappeared into the void. Well, I feel like this has at least been a 10 pull or more at this point, and no reds. There's a red, and it's obviously a dupe because you could see the orb. Fine. Maybe we'll do a few more singles, but I don't have any hope right now for that. How many free crystals left? 98. I could do a few more, but I still have time. I could do this, but for now, I'll do one. A single one. That's it. Maybe. Potentially. I don't know. At least we're building up medals. The Rhea, I like. A blue, I don't. Only 2 people. Not as good as 3. The animations matter. Otherwise, going to be nothing. Has to be 1 red, honestly. What? I'm getting mixed messages from this. Really. You're telling me a Freya with 1 other person and 3 animations doesn't turn it to a red. I'm going to be storing that in my memory for the future, because that should have been a red considering the animations, but as you know, animations are complete randomness, like, seriously. I'll do a few more singles, and then I guess we'll go over to the unit showcase part of the thing that we're doing. Unless we get the unit right now. Probably not. You can hope, but it won't happen. Yeah. I don't think we're going to be getting the unit today because it just doesn't look like that's going to happen. We did get the unit quite early on part 1, but part 2 doesn't look like the unit wants to show up today, but yeah. Everyone showing up with 3 animations and no res is just illegal. That should not happen ever in Twilight of Last Cloudia. That should not. You should go to jail. The game should go to jail just for doing that troll. It's just like... It also depends on which orb shows up, so if it's a blue you got the least amount of chance, but still. Having the animations... More animations usually means higher luck. Always. Every time. I don't think we're getting the unit today. This is sad. Very sad. What? Unit? No. Blue. I shouldn't do anymore. If I were to get the unit, would I want to get the paid equip meant? Don't know. But if I were to do one more temple in here, I would have enough for one paid equipment. I guess we'll do a few more. Even though I always say, oh, we're gonna do one more and then stop, but we don't stop. A gold. A gold is better than a blue. Unless it's not, then screw you. I'm very good at rhyming today. Don't answer why. 2 animations, 3. I was gonna say, no way, there's not a red. Only 1. Obviously, you're gonna be a dupe. Because 1's not enough. 1 just... no. Just no. Okay. I'll take a short break. Let's go to the trading space just to check what we have so far. Obviously, we've got the arc, which is good. That's great. Yeah, now we're at 191, but this is across 2 banners, by the way. We can almost pity 1 arc, which is interesting, but don't do that yet. Honestly, I think I will... I don't know which one to get yet. Kinda want the accessory. I'll get the accessory. I prefer it, in my opinion. If we were to do 2 more temples with paid crystals, then we would get the other paid equipment, but do we want to do that? I don't know. I kinda do, honestly, but I should be doing testing first before I do that. Yeah, we're still looking fine on crystals, so I might as well do a few more, just cause. And then we'll look at the unit soon, and start trying out the unit. You don't need to have the unit to try them out, even though it would be nice. I'm just thinking that the robe could be amazing in Guild versus Guild, but I don't know, because her magic needs to be strong enough, needs to do enough damage, and I just don't know how much it's gonna work, you know, like, is it worth doing? It might be, because the damage cap is still pretty good. Why are the reds non-existent in my game right now? Like, it started off pretty good, even though they were dupes. And then it got worse. And then worse, and then worse. And now even worse. I don't want to do anymore, but I want to get the unit, so it's kind of like, what do? Keep going, or... Okay, well, you could have been the unit, you really could have, but you wasn't. You weren't. We will stop in a minute, maybe 2 or 3 or 4. Or 700 days. I know I can pity something right now, but yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm starting to think that it's not a clever idea, so using more free crystals, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be saving the rest of my free crystals for now, because we still need 3 crystals for the other banners. So I'm not going to be using any more 3 crystals for now. Obviously we can pity something right now, but I'm being smarter than I was. And then I go ahead and do something stupid, which is use too many crystals. Save these medals. I could guarantee myself this arc, but there's a small chance that I could get it from one of these single pulls. Right here. Or here. Don't do what I do. Sometimes you should. Yeah. Let's come back to this. I might do the paid step gacha a bit more. I could pity the unit if I want, but you gotta think though, like the smartest thing to do is, considering I've already got one thing from this banner, I should wait for part 3 and 4 and not do any more pulls in this, because I could get a dupe of the limited arc, and if that was on part 3 that would have been the limited arcs, so that's the thing. I'll just go to the event stage now then. Okay, never mind. Let's go on the Steam now and try out the unit, because I haven't tried her out yet, so just gotta remember that it doesn't matter when you get the unit or the arc, because there's still a lot more time left, you know. So if you play the waiting game, it's gonna end up paying off. Hopefully. Maybe. So let's go to the unit test play quest thing for Freya, and we'll do this one. So, right, I know for sure I will be getting Freya, it's just when is the question. The question is when, not if. That's what I'm like. It's not an if, it's a when. She's got 1000 MP. Hang on. This is base skills, and with both paids, and with this arc. And she's got 1024 MP already. That's pretty nice. That's great. I like that. I don't think there's any rush to get Freya, if I think about it. Okay, let's try this. So, her skills, I'm just gonna use them anyway, but they're not really gonna do a lot. Okay. So, there's a charge up, and then you use it. But if you spam it, then there's not a charge up on the next few times that you use it. So, that's nice. You know what? It just feels like her skills, if you spam them, they're faster than... Yeah, because if I wait, and use a skill. There's a charge up and then you use it. There's a charge up and then you use it. Or you just use it if you spam it. Let's try a special out. It's not going to do a whole lot. It's a single hit. Looks cool. And then you see a big number which is 100 and... I can't see that number. Let's try this magic. Look how long it takes. 100 years. Hey. Just trying out the unit right now. Damage... Honestly... Well, that's not her unique magic, but I just want to try these first. Just try the normal ones first. Abyssgate should do somewhat better. Never mind, the damage is quite low, but you've got to remember this is base skills only. Gravity Blessing. Haven't really seen this one. How many hits does it do? 20, 36. Then Cosmic Spear is the one I've seen already. It's pretty cool. 40. So... if you go by that, then Cosmic Spear will be her best magic to use. Because they cost the same, and Cosmic Spear has higher hit count. So... for that reason... you would probably want to make a more focused Dark Mage than Thunder, but Thunder can still work. If I use Gravity Blessing again, and I also want to try doing this just to see what happens. Yeah, then it finishes and then she instantly casts a second one. Good. That's what I like to see. I think Cosmic Spear I like more, honestly. It's faster than Gravity Blessing and has 4 more hits. And now they're dead. Okay. One thing to think about. Her damage should have been better. Obviously it's base skills, but the enemy had Thunder and Dark weakness, and she still wasn't hitting damage cap, which you would think she should. Just do this one, because why not? It's basically just the same. Standard battle, she's got magic. Can't really do much testing in this stream, can I? But honestly, it's harder to test a mage than a physical DPS. So this is what you would want to do. You want to cast this, eventually, and then instantly go to cast another one. And then they'll kind of combo into each other. Yeah, great. Well, the one thing I'm noticing is you look at the numbers on the magic, and the numbers are higher on Gravity Blessing. It's hitting 80,000, 70,000, 80,000, right? But the other one was hitting between 70 and 60,000, so the Dark Magic has more hits, but a less damage multiplier, it seems. So for that reason, I guess they're balanced in some way. That would probably mean that you want to use the Thunder for damage, but I don't know. They're both solid. I just think I prefer the Dark one because it's faster. But I think I tried to cast the second one as fast as possible, but just didn't have enough casting speed. I'll try that again. So, with Gravity Blessing, takes like 5 seconds to cast a magic. Then I cast another Gravity Blessing, and then as soon as that one's finished, that one cast. But with Cosmic Spear, if I use a Cosmic Spear and then try and use another one, there is a tiny bit of a delay. Less damage numbers. Yeah, it doesn't cast instantly, there's still a bit delay, so the reason being is because Cosmic Spear is a lot faster than Gravity Blessing. Gravity Blessing, by the time it's finished casting and done all of its hits, the next one you're casting is going to be finished. But the other one, you can't do that. It's not a big deal, but it still kind of shows you that the DPS, if you care about the DPS, then the Dark one's going to be way better. And remember, you don't want casting speed on this unit because you're going to do less damage cap. Honestly, I like mages, and I like unique mages like this, so I would like to get the robe and use her, but she isn't a mage that has every single element, or a mage like Shift Lagravos who has non-attribute magic as well. So her use is going to be less than someone like Shift Lagravos, because she only has 2 elements. But sometimes that's not a problem, because units like Eliza, she can still use her fire magic in a lot of places because she can reduce their fire weakness with her anima, which is great. Makes a difference, even though her DPS isn't that crazy. Yeah, I'm just thinking more about Freya. She can only use non-stacking magic. I think her stacking magic damage cap is going to be incredibly bad. But what does she have for damage in general, not damage caps? I can check. So obviously the thunder damage and damage cap, the damage, thunder and dark damage is all the time, but the damage cap is only when you're using an all enemy attack magic. So in theory, you could use generator, you could use any stacking magic and try and do as much damage as possible with that, but that would only be viable in PvP for damage. But obviously you're not going to benefit from the ultimate casting damage, so that may not even be enough damage. I don't know, I'm just thinking about it. Trying to think what else I can do, because honestly, when you don't get the unit, there isn't that much you can do. Like, kind of limited. And this unit is a unique unit where I can't really test them properly. It's going to be the same problem with Reyna, because the part 4 unit, I think she's mostly going to be a healer, but we don't know. Just assuming by what we've seen that I think she's a healer. And you can't really test a support unit, can you? Kind of difficult to do that. And mages. Right. So, this event, kind of already talked about it already. They have updated it. They're going to be updating this every week. Up until part 4 probably. So, part 3 is going to be next Thursday, which should bring that guy with Cloud. He's going to be... I'm going to assume that he's going to be a single wield fire physical DPS. by what I've seen, but I don't know. We have no idea because we haven't seen what he does. I'm just guessing, so don't take my word for it. I'm just taking a guess. That's what I would think by looking at what he looks like. He's definitely going to be a DPS because he has a sword, so he's going to probably be a typical sword user, single-wield DPS. That's just my guess, but let's actually have a look at the arc because we did get that one. So this arc, might as well level it up. So I think resist magic's going to be pretty great. Who would I use it on is a different story. It depends. Usually those types of skills, more PvP related skills. I think in guild versus guild maybe it could be useful, but it's not that much of a difference, honestly. I still prefer the part 1 arc with resist damage for less physical damage. I just think that's going to be more useful than resist magic, because most people use physical damage in arena more than magic damage. Arc would be very nice with Freya, but missing out on her for the moment. But I'm trying my hardest to be very smart with this collab, but it's just kind of difficult, you know, because you just want to get it. I don't need it yet. We can at least get it to level 10. That's good. There's level 10. So at level 10 you get 15% intelligence, 10% MP, damage taken minus 25%, damage cap 2,500. Well, so here's the thing, is she's a mage, so if you want to maximize her special, she can't do it herself. That's the thing. The only way you can maximize her special if you use a whole team focused on doing that. So I guess I can show a few examples. Saintly Lilibet, main example, because you can just use dual wield and a bunch of impact skills like impact, double impact, triple impact, increases the combo by a lot, and just spam her normal attacks to get the combo up by as much as possible. That would be the only way to really do it, because the combo does apply to everyone in your team. It's the whole team's combo altogether, so you just kind of want someone that can help with that in your team, and those units are going to be dual wield units, or units that can do a lot of hits, like maybe even Luke, because he's got the FOF buff and stuff like that. But other alternatives, obviously, like I said earlier, units with time stop, like Lelouch and Guardian Angel Lukel, because they're time stop, you can spam skills, and since you're in time stop, the combo's just going to keep going up as long as you're hitting. So for a recommended build for Freya, I guess I can just go to a typical mage and change it based on what Freya would be. So if I was using Freya, obviously you would want to have a staff first of all, and she is Dark and Thunder, so obviously this is still the best staff in the game to use, so this is going to be the best staff for damage if you care about it, if you have it. If you don't though, then probably becomes more difficult, I think, because I don't think there's that many I can see, unless there's a few that I'm missing out on. But actually there's a staff in the event, and it increases Thunder and Dark damage by 10% and gives some damage cap, so You could use that event staff if you want. And those are kind of the two options I can think of, because honestly, there aren't that many that can increase dark or thunder magic damage. It's just, this one's so good. If you don't have it, it's kind of unfortunate because it's so good and it's kind of the best option for every mage, but there aren't really that many other good staff options in my opinion. For robes, it's kind of different. Like what I was talking about earlier is the paid robe for Freya would be great, but the other alternative is, considering her paid robe doesn't give damage, obviously the best one would be this one, because this one is just a Godforge robe you can get for free, and it's still the best robe in the game, and you can use it on any mage. It just gives 25% more magic damage. If you need damage, this would be the best one you would want to use for sure, and I still use this so much on pretty much every mage, especially in PvP. There's probably a staff on limited arcs. The newest limited arc in part 2 doesn't have a staff, it has a spear for whatever reason. I don't know what part 1 arc has, I don't remember because I didn't get it yet, but I haven't gotten every single arcing reward. Yeah, this staff, I should probably say that. So this staff is from Theopolis UR arc, but it's a Godforge staff, so it requires a lot of investment. You need to get it from Theopolis, so you need to get Theopolis first, and then get the Archive reward, and then you need to go to Godforge, get it to plus 40, and then Godforge it, and then get it to plus 20, and then it'll be at this. So, well, that's actually at plus 40. So, yeah. It's a lot of investment, and you need Theopolis UR, but Theopolis is arguably the best UR arc in the game, so if you've been around for a while, you should have it. Because from previous anniversaries, we've gotten a free UR select ticket, so if you were around the past anniversary, you should have it, because you should have probably chosen it. If you didn't, then you probably chose Great War of Ruin, but in my opinion, I use Theopolis more than Great War of Ruin, so I just think Theopolis is probably better. Fantasia Cape, best robe. Any other options? Obviously a paid robe for Freya, but anything else? I don't think so, which is sad. Yeah, if you think about it, we don't have many options for robes and staffs. If you're missing the best ones that I've already mentioned that you can get from Godforge, then you really don't have that many options, which is unfortunate because you do kind of need a good robe. And if you don't have Fantasia Cape or her paid robe, you don't really have a good robe available for Freya. Well, Godforge it's a lot easier than it was, because we've been getting a lot of materials from events, especially this event. It gives those Godforged materials as well, but basically, well, there's dark attack damage if you need it, but it's not really that great. Basically what it was before, when it released, was you had to farm these specific hard bosses in multiplayer and try to get the materials from those bosses, but nowadays you just get the materials from the events, and I guess I can show it, but I have a lot of them, and as long as you're doing the events, you should have them. So it's just in alchemy. If I were to go to Godforge alchemy, these god spheres, you just need a bunch of those. You just find the one weapon that you need. So in this case, if you want to get that staff and you have it, then the first thing you would need to do is not go there, because it's not a Godforge weapon yet. You need to enhance equipment and find it over here. Find a staff right here, and then enhance it to max level. Then go to Godforge alchemy, and then most of the times it requires a second weapon to be enhanced to max level as well, so you'd have to enhance the second weapon, and then you can God Forge it, but it does require a lot of gold and souls, and these God Spheres, which you should be getting from events. And then you God Forge it, and then you go to enhancement, and then you enhance it. I'm still missing out on a few of these, but it's a lot of materials, and if you're a newer player, it's going to be quite difficult to get those straight away. But if you've been playing for a while, it's quite easy. So it's definitely worth doing, considering they're some of the best equipments in the game. So for accessories for Freya, since she's a Dark and Thunder Mage, some interesting choices. So Cultist Pendant is a interesting one. So the thing behind this one is it gives casting speed and dark magic damage. It's good, right? Yes and no. Reason being is it's only going to be good in PvP because the casting speed does help in PvP and it gives dark damage, which is what she needs. But you do not want casting speed in PvE because you lose out on some of her damage cap if you have more casting speed. So basically, if you give her more casting speed, you have less damage cap. So I would only recommend to have this on Freya if you're using her in PvP, like Arena or Guild vs Guild. You would want to use this, but don't use that in PvE. Some people may think they should be using it, but you're losing out on damage cap if you're losing it because of her trait 1, which requires her to have slower casting speed for that reason. So just something you need to think about. And other accessories, honestly, there's a few. Like, this one is great if you want to use her for dark magic damage. This would be very good. That's from a UR arc though, Lily Matter, if you've got that one. If you don't, what I would probably do is, if I'm using her in PvE, maybe try and put as much MP on her as possible. If you want to use her on auto, then maybe Elder King Mask could be useful, because that will help on auto, not using skills. So you could do that. Band's Music Box I like in Arena. I don't know if I would use that, but there's just a few options. Dark attack damage does apply to magic as well, so we do have a few good accessories for dark damage. Not as much for thunder magic though. That's physical, so that won't help. You don't really need physical damage since she's only going to be a mage. And that's kind of it, I think. Fire, no. This one was from a collab, but it does increase magic damage. And that's kind of what I can think of. This one was from a collab too, but it does give a lot of MP, so this one is great. Think about it. If you're hitting a weakness, and if you're hitting human geyser against an enemy, then you're going to be doing 30% more damage with this accessory. So as long as you're built specifically to hit weakness and anti-type damage, then this will be amazing in PvP mostly, but in most cases that's not going to be the case. So you may not want to use this, only if you know you're going to be able to hit the weakness, and then that's kind of it. But this one could potentially work because Freya does do more damage against non-god type enemies, and this is damage to non-god type enemies. Don't remember where I got it from, but it's probably from a UR arc or something. That's kind of the only options I can think of right now. Basically, you just want to focus on thunder or dark damage. Casting speed, Cultist Pendant is only going to be a PvP accessory on this unit on Freya. And MP, more MP the better. You could increase her damage cap if you want. And that's kind of the best options I can think of for recommended equipments for Freya. I don't have anything else that I could see on my account that I would recommend, so just kind of go with what you've got. And I'm just thinking about it, like, if you were to read the units and their build and everything, then you would kind of know what you need to put on them, but sometimes it can make it easier because I know exactly more about the unit. So, anything else I need to do in the stream? Honestly, I would like to do something else in the stream, but I don't have the unit yet, so we can't test the unit properly, but we did test in the unit test play quest. I like saying that. It's fun words. And the event, honestly, there isn't really too much else to talk about and cover, because if you think about what this update has added, just another part to the event, more to the event, another unit and arc, that's kind of the main thing. Getting the unit, getting anything new at all is going to be great. I got incredibly lucky with Lenneth, but I didn't with Freya. So, one thing I want to do now before I forget is I want to move over to showcasing Lenneth Valkyrie. That's going to probably be the last thing we're going to do. So, if I look at Lenneth, I do have her fully built now, so this will give us something else to do. Might as well awaken her. I think she's a great unit, and I can tell you why and show her off a bit more now, considering I've used her for the past week. I think she's a great unit. I do like her a lot. I'm actually surprised with how well she performs. Right now in PvE, this is my current build. I changed recently. She wasn't really doing that much damage, but her DPS can be pretty good because her hit counts and her skills are pretty fast, so that's great. Trishula and a sword will be probably the best builds, and then these are two accessories I haven't really changed at all. I did get her paid accessory, but you don't need a paid accessory for PvE. The build I currently have isn't final. I'm still working on it because I still need to learn a bunch of skills on Lenneth, but Honey Elixir and Goddess Kiss is probably what I will have because she's got 2 light weapons, so benefiting from SET from Honey Elixir and MP from Goddess Kiss is probably something you definitely want to do if you can. And then down here is mostly just focused on damage and damage caps. So you got like Mega Drive, and there's also Machine Mega Boost. That's why I like Machine, because Machine Mega Boost exists. Purple Orb I just like, and then I got damage cap, Phone Booth just because why not, and some damage, and that's kind of what it is at the moment. But this isn't my final build, it's just the build I have for the moment that I've been using for the event. So let's go to Lenneth and go to the world map and try her out with my current build and see how she performs. And then I want to go into arena and try her out there because I've been using her there and she actually works pretty well. She's not a full tank, but she can tank decently well and do some okay damage at the same time. I do like all of her skills, honestly, but her skill 3 is my favourite. So against the boss, she's going to do quite a lot. As you can see, 53,000 damage cap right there. Yeah, they're all dead. It's a pretty good build, and you can see the DPS, because her skills are so fast, it just melts those enemies pretty fast. I like it quite a lot. But I admit, I haven't really been using her in PvE, because there isn't really any PvE content that I can use her in, because I've beaten all of the PvE content. But I've been using her more in arena, so I am personally more interested in PvP related units more than PvE currently, because I don't really have any PvE content that I need to beat. So let's try this again and try a bit more of her skills just to see how she's performing. Her skill 1 is honestly not that great. It looks fast, but the hit count is not good enough. Skill 2 I like quite a bit because you can see the range of her skill 2 is actually pretty solid, and you'll probably see that more in Arena. Skill 3 is definitely the best one. She doesn't always hit damage cap against these enemies. That's why I'm saying this build isn't final, because I still need to adjust it and put on Goddess Kiss for the MP and more damage basically. So that's her in PvE, doing pretty well, honestly. Surprised with how she does there. Her skill 3, pretty amazing. Now in Arena, different story. Because in PvE, it's mostly for her damage, right? But in Arena, I'm going to be showing you what she does right now. Nice defense wins. Like seeing that. So, only reason I'm at rank 8 right now is just because I've been using Lenneth Valkyrie. I don't care about Arena rankings. I just play Arena for fun. I don't be competitive because being competitive is not fun for me. So I like having fun with making my own teams and just having fun with the units. So this is my current team. I might as well show you my Lenneth build because this is kind of the purpose of showing this. So I have a built very interestingly. Some people may see this and start copying me in Arena, but I'm not fussed about that. So look at my current equipment. I'm using that light sword because I just think it's quite good. It's probably the best sword she can equip, and I'm using cloves. I'll tell you why in a second. Her paid accessory and a revive accessory. So her build, as you can see, is very different from PvE, and reason being is I tried her out in multiple different builds and a few different teams. I've done way too much testing with this unit. I have done the most testing with this unit out of anyone else. So you can take my word for it that I know what I'm talking about with this unit in Arena, because I've done many hours of testing. But the damage difference from dual wield and single wield with this unit isn't really any different, and I just think as a single wield unit is more reliable and can allow her to tank more skills and tank more damage. And it can give her some more damage as well, because you know single wield units have more damage modifiers and you can put on skills for specifically a single wield unit. So I put on this cloth because I just think it's very good. Less physical damage taken, do more skill damage and boost movement speed. Movement speed is quite useful for this unit. And her paid accessory, I just have to show this. This paid accessory is just so good in Arena. You take less physical and magic damage all the time, and when close to death, very great restore HP, and physical and magic damage take a minus 50% for 7 seconds. This allows her to tank pretty amazingly, and I really like it. That's the reason why I did pull for it specifically. I did pulls and got this accessory because I think that she's going to be a good solid Arena unit, and she is, because she's been rated on the tier list now. She's at 9.2, which is pretty decent on the higher end of Arena units, and I've done most of the testing for that, so I did play a part with helping with the tier list, but that's just kind of guild effort. I can't take anything for that. But if you look at my build, this is mostly for damage, but also for tanking damage at the same time. So you've got critical up to and advanced aim vitals. I'm not going to talk about every skill, but this just helps with crits. Illness resist, because as you know she has a weakness to illness. I just thought it would help a little bit, and it probably does, because I don't want her to be weak to illness. Holy Ensemble I have on every single unit in my current team, because when you have 4 allies with this skill, you're getting 30% more light damage for this unit, so her damage is going to be pretty good. And then more damage, just basic damage skills, Pose of Victory and Honor, it's just helpful. Backstab, because of her skill 3, does go behind the enemy, so I think that's great. Piercing, I just like having on every single Arena unit ever for a DPS, because piercing is just great in Arena. Two-handed sword, because I think 12 SC for the buffs you get from this skill is worth it. You get 20% damage and you get 10% crit rate, so 10% crit rate and 20% damage to 12 SC is actually pretty good. Because usually you would have, if I have it, critical up 3 is 7 SC and it gives you 8%. So you can see how worth it is. You're spending like 5 more SC and you get 2% more crit rate and 20% physical damage. So I like this skill a lot, and if you've got this skill, Swordian Might, one of the best skills for single wield units. That's why I have a light sword, that's why I've got this one, because you need to have a light sword to benefit from this skill. And then just a bunch of damage and all of the skill charge, because I'm using shield render and decoy and sharp eyes. Decoy I always have, it just revives her, really good. More damage, and then we start getting to some damage mitigation skills like resonance barrier, take less physical damage. I've also got this on my tank unit. And Pulley's butterfly is, some of these are limited collab skills, but it's very good considering that she does have a lot of ways to take less physical damage, so this will stack pretty well. And that's pretty much it for my build on Lenneth in Arena. So as you can see, she's mostly focused on damage, but she does have some damage mitigation too with resonance barrier and Pulley's butterfly, and she's single wield, and with her pet accessory and this cloth and this revive accessory, she does pretty well. And the arc I'm using, I think this is the best arc on her in my opinion, but it depends on what your team is. The reason why I'm using this is because flinch resistance is very important for Lenneth Valkyrie in Arena, and this does allow her to take less fire and dark physical damage, and it gives her anti-flinch, it gives her flinch resistance for 10 seconds when she revives and at start battle. That's why I think this is great. And 100% defense buff. So I'm using this because I think it's the best arc on her, but alternatively you could put on pirate ship on one of your units in your team. You could put on pirate ship and give her flinch resistance for that in the first 10 seconds, which could be a good option. And then you could put on a stronger DPS arc on Lenneth if you want, but I just think this is a better idea in my opinion. Well, here's what I think. I think you shouldn't really pull that much yet. You should wait for part 4, because part 4 you have every single banner available. If you can spend a little bit, then you can do the daily single pulls and hopefully get something from there. But Freya hasn't had enough testing. I have tested a lot with Lenneth, and I know she's an amazing unit for sure, so you can guarantee that Lenneth's going to be a great unit, but Freya's also a great unit. Let's start trying this team. I don't know who I'm going to go up against. Someone I know I can do on auto to begin with. So the smartest thing to do in this collab is to not do many pulls yet, and try and save the majority of your pulls for part 4, and that's what I'm going to be doing. And the reason being is because you can get tickets from the event, you might as well use all of those first, and you could do a few single summers or something in the meantime. And then once part 4 releases, you can then decide on who you want to do, who you want to pull for. You can see everyone's dying right now on their team. Kind of difficult to see what's going on, but everything's dying. Great stuff, everyone died. That's great on auto. I've been using this team on auto quite a bit. This team works great. Lenneth did get the kill there. Her single wield damage, actually pretty solid. If I go to damage report, most of the time Summer Sarah gets most of the damage, but the good thing about Freya is she has her trait 2, which can buff Summer Sarah by quite a bit. And Lenneth Valkyrie, she can tank some damage and can do damage at the same time, so it's pretty good. Cat is back. I'll showcase her a bit more. I'll do a few more battles. I'll do some manual as well on a few battles. But yeah, this trait 2 give all allies strength and intelligence plus 50% buff is really good with Summer Sarah because she doesn't have an intelligence or strength buff, and that will increase her damage by quite a lot. So let's see, who else could we do on auto? Probably this, I think. I've been doing arena quite a lot over the past week. And then we'll do some manual on a few teams just to see how she can do properly. What I should do, I need to do something on the settings, but I can't do it here. So as you can see, she isn't getting flinched because she has the arc that got on her. She heals a lot because she's got Awaken and a bunch of other healing skills. She's alive as well as Jian, they're both alive right now. Obviously she's going to die probably right now, as expected. And then when she revives, right now she's got full health again and she's got flinch resistance again. So now she's going to start killing everything again. The magic doesn't matter because she's got flinch resistance and she just healed a bunch. She's doing a lot of damage, and there you go. Good stuff. Next one I'm going to do on manual, then I can properly show it. But you can see this team works pretty well on auto, and she is doing quite a bit of damage. Against certain arena defense teams, she does do a majority of the damage. Like this time, she did most of the damage, and she took a lot of damage. You see how good that is? She took that much damage. She only died once, and she did a lot of damage. She's just really good. She's so good in arena. She's not going to be on the same level as other units that we've got, but with the way I have her built, she can tank a lot and do a lot of damage. Some people have built Lenneth for a full tank unit, but I wouldn't recommend doing that because I just don't think she's tanky enough. So what I have is a full tank, which is Jian, as a full tank, the main tank, and then Lenneth Valkyrie is kind of a sub DPS and tank at the same time, so goes pretty well. Now let's do some manual on any random team, but I still want to try and get some arena points, just because why not. So, see how she does when I do manual against a more difficult team. Only problem is Sarah doesn't have any flinch resistance, but it's fine. Kinda like Vayne in a way, yes, but she needs the flinch resistance. It's very important for her. Vayne has long range skills, but she doesn't. So, flinch resistance, can't say how important it is, it's just, you need it. I'm trying to make her do most of the damage here. Yeah, she did quite a bit of damage right there. There you go. 6,000. Well, that was Summer Sarah, but yeah. This team's great, and this works on auto. But this is mostly just a showcase Lenneth Valkyrie, but I found that this current team that I'm using works pretty well on quite a few defense teams on auto, so this time she didn't do as much damage, but she still took a decent amount of damage and didn't die at all. So I just think her utility, you know, is just really good, because even though she doesn't do the highest damage, she doesn't need to, because she can tank and she can be a support a little bit, because the strength and intelligence buff and ST recovery speed buff does help, especially for Summer Sarah. So Summer Sarah with Lenneth Valkyrie is going to be a very good combination if you can fit it on your team, because we've got a lot of meta units in arena currently, and I can't fit them on my team right now because there are too many good units in arena. But as you know, Summer Sarah is like the best arena unit currently. Pretty much everyone's using her, So I have to use her because she's fun and she's really good. Who do I want to hit you next? I'll try this. She isn't going to be strong enough to kill a tank team. I will try a tank team in a second once I can find one, but you can see that Summer Sarah is going to do most of the damage against a tank team. I always use her skill 3 most of the time. They're both dead. I guess I can wait. Get lost. Kill Sarah. There you go. You're probably gonna die now, but it's fine because you've got to revive for full health. There you go. Good healing. That's pretty good. I do really like her, honestly. I think she's definitely on the higher end of arena PvP units, and I think Lenneth Valkyrie is going to be a good unit in Guild vs Guild as well. Once Guild vs Guild releases, maybe she'll be good enough to be a full tank or something in your attack team, I don't know. I'm just coming up with ideas, but I still think she's going to be a good unit anyways for Guild vs Guild. Definitely, for sure. There you go, she did more damage that time and took a lot of damage. She's great. Really good. She's kind of similar to Suzaku, but more tanky. Only thing that Suzaku has is he's got the 7 seconds of he can't take damage against physical damage for 7 seconds. That's the only thing he's got. And decent damage, but he can't tank. Suzaku can't tank, even though people try to use him as a tank. That's only because he can survive 7 seconds. He's not really a tank. But Lenneth Valkyrie can survive for longer if you've built her well enough. It's pretty fun using her, honestly. Oh great, you're stunned now, that's not going to help. What am I going to do if I'm stunned? I don't know, I can't really do anything, can I? No. I don't know how units get stunned. Like, sometimes Summer Sarah gets stunned, but I don't know how. Like, I really have no idea. That's the only problem I have sometimes. Can't do anything when I'm stunned. I just have to wait till she dies. There you go. I don't care about winning. That kills you. Now currently nobody can do... Only problem there is she got stunned, but I don't know why. I don't understand why. Let me see. She took more damage than Jian did. That's interesting. Obviously she probably got smacked a bunch more than Jian did. Jian, if she doesn't survive, then if she's not guarding, then she's probably gonna die quite easily against shield render teams. She does die quite easily. She doesn't have any stun resistance or illness resistance, but I do like the idea of Ring of Wisdom instead of the Black Diamond, because that does give both of the resistances I need. You know, I was considering using Black Diamond on Lenneth Valkyrie to give her those resistances, but Ring of Wisdom just seems like it's better because a full heal instead, healing at full health, just sounds more useful. And Sarah does need some resistance too. So let's try see if we can find a tank team. Or just a few more teams just to try them out. Lenneth Valkyrie definitely, I don't think she can be strong enough for a tank team, but to fight a tank team. Got to hate Ruto, but he's dead somehow. I can probably do this on auto, you know. I do like having a healer, but Can't really fit one in this team. Lenneth's gonna die probably soon. I'm expecting it to happen. The good thing about her dying is that she gets flinch resistance when she revives. Currently she doesn't have any flinch resistance, but she's not dying. That's a good thing though. Okay. That was a lot of damage. That was some Sarah though. She's ridiculous. She's pretty crazy. If you didn't get her, you're missing out. Yeah. Let's try find a tank team. I need to find one. There aren't really that many tank teams currently. Not many people using tank teams. I know there's at least a couple that I've seen. Who were they? Kind of. Summer Sarah is basically the top arena unit currently that you kind of want to use. If you didn't get it, then it's annoying, but it's not someone you need, it's just someone that is very good, you know? You don't need anyone in this game, it's just there are better units, obviously. Following the meta isn't really a big deal because arena should be easy enough where you can just beat it anyway, as long as you've got a decent enough team. You'll probably see how much damage Summer Sarah's doing this time. Summer Sarah is the main damage dealer here. She's too good. I was considering getting her to plus 30, but I haven't done it yet. I did get her to plus 10 though. So this was kind of a tank team. As you can see, when I attack a tank team with this team that I'm currently using, Summer Sarah does most of the damage. Lenneth Valkyrie does some damage, but not nearly as much as Summer Sarah. But the good thing is, Lenneth Valkyrie is buffing Summer Sarah with that 50% intelligence and strength buff, so it still helps. I know for sure I can do Zerk on auto most of the time, so this should be fine. I do like arena just because I think it's fun. Let's see what happens. Obviously Ruto and Suzaku is just annoying because they don't die for 7 seconds. They just can't take damage. That's when you kind of need a mage. And that's when I want to use Amelia that's unlike in my current team. Okay. Well, Ruto isn't very tanky, but he can be annoying. I'm using him on my defense. Yuri is actually a solid arena unit, or PvP unit in general. I remember what was hilarious is in Guild vs Guild beta, I was using Yuri and like a tank. Yeah, I was using a tank plus Yuri on my defense on round 2, and people kept dying by Yuri. It was so funny. Yuri was just using his skill 1 and skill 3 most of the time and just instantly killing everyone on the attacking enemy team. It was very funny. It was great, and it was funny because I didn't see any other people using the same defense as me, so I kind of discovered that he is still great in arena. It's just the meta. I don't know if he can fit in. He probably could. He's great because he's got long range skill 1, but I don't know. I think the thing you've got to think about is it's not about if the unit is good. That does play a big factor, but what you need is a whole team that works together. That's probably why Yuri isn't as good as he should be, and why people don't really use him, because people can't really find a team that can make him as good as he should be, you know. But we've got teams like what I've currently got, and we can just destroy a lot of teams right now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have his paid gear. I haven't used him in a while, but he's pretty fun. I do like him as a unit. I could see myself using him again in Guild versus Guild. In Arena, not currently, because I can't really fit anyone else in my team. The problem is we have so many good units, I can't fit him in my team. Like, this team that I'm currently using, I can't really replace anyone because Summer Sarah is just so good, and she can't be replaced because she's that good that everyone uses her now. Everyone that has Summer Sarah uses her. Everyone. Literally. Almost everyone. So, I think I was using Yuri plus Murren or something. Actually, it was Yuri plus Granadus, maybe. I don't remember, but it was very funny. People were laughing over that. It was great. Multiple people attacked my Yuri defense and then just dead. Pretty sure I do have his page. Yeah, it's pretty good. Let's try and find a tank team. We still got to do that. I'm gonna do a few more attacks because this is fun. Why can't I find the people that I found the other day for a tank team? It's none of these. That's too easy. This one is a tank team. Yeah. This team, I don't have Freya, so I can't try her in Arena yet. But from looking at how she performs and her skills and everything that she's got, she could be good in Arena. I just don't think she can fit in the current Arena teams that we have right now, because the current team I'm using, it doesn't really have room for a mage. So she could work, but honestly, I think she'll perform better in Guild versus Guild. We already won. They're all dead. Great. I like this team, it's so fun. I definitely think Freya could synergize well with someone else that has an anima that could reduce thunder or dark resistance and allow her magic to do better. I think that would be good for Guild versus Guild potentially. Teleporting, I don't think so. I haven't tested her too much, but there isn't much to test with her because she's just a mage. Like, what you see is what you get. What you get is what you see with this unit. Freya. Hopefully she's good. She is good, for sure. Just don't know PvP yet. We'll do one more if I can find, yeah, this guy who's a tank team. We'll leave this one as the last one. There isn't really much else we can do today. Kind of have to wait till next Thursday for the next stream, I think. But as you can see, Lenneth Valkyrie doesn't really do that much damage against tank teams. She does okay damage, but mine isn't built for that. Mine isn't built for maximum damage. If I wanted maximum damage, I would go for dual wields and go more for guard break and just focus really hard on damage, but I don't want her to be that type of unit. I want her to be a hybrid tank slash DPS, and she works better for that role, I think, than a full DPS. This guy's defense can be annoying when he starts spamming magic all the time like this, but it's still an easy win all the time. Just may take a while, because currently I don't have any flint resistance. Only has flint resistance for the first 10 seconds, and when she dies, but she can't die if they're not doing enough damage. But you're going to see from these results that Summer Sarah is going to be doing most of the damage here. Yeah, she's just ridiculous. She's so good. She's kind of broken in a good way. Gorm's dead by Sarah. It's funny. Sarah was a really good support for damage, and now she's actually going to be the damage dealer for once. It's great. Yeah. Well, thanks for being here. I'll be ending soon anyway, after I've talked about conclusion and everything, but almost finishing up right now. Yeah, Lenneth Valkyrie, she did some damage, but she isn't going to be the main focus of your team to be a damage dealer, so... Summer Sarah's still crazy for the mage damage dealer. As you can see from Lenneth Valkyrie, she's really good in arena. She does rate quite high in arena, and if you can fit her in your team and make her work, she'll do very well. She's kind of similar to Suzaku in a way, or Vayne, like a close-up version of Vayne in a way, I guess you could say, but she doesn't have any guard skills. She just can tank a lot of physical damage, but here's the problem though, is if you're using her in PvP, then you kind of want to get her accessory because it's that good, and this accessory will make a massive difference compared to without it. So if you're missing out on her accessory, she's not going to do as good, but she's still going to be a solid unit to use. And I think that's everything that I want to show. I spent a lot of time showing off Lenneth Valkyrie in Arena, but I just think she's fun. Definitely a fun unit. Her skills are fast. She does good damage. Just a solid arena unit because she can. She's able to tank a few skills, and that's kind of rare because we do have a lot of strong damage dealers, especially Summer Sarah. So the fact that she can tank a few of those skills is pretty impressive, since most units won't be able to survive very long. So I think that's everything for this stream. 2 hours 12 minutes of me talking non-stop is always painful, but still fun nonetheless. Next week on Thursday we'll be back for the next stream, and it should be the part 3 unit, Cloud. He's going to be an interesting unit. They're all going to be interesting, but my expectations from him is going to be a single wield fire DPS, but that's just my guess. We don't know yet. I'm hoping he has some unique skills and a decent arc, and maybe in the meantime we can hopefully get something from part 1 or part 2, because I'm still missing 2 things. I still need Freya and this arc, so hopefully I can get those very soon. So, conclusion for this stream, I still think is a good idea to save your crystals and just spend your time farming the event and maybe do a few singles, but saving most of your crystals for when part 4 releases, like I said in the last stream, is still a great idea. Now, which unit do I think I would recommend to get? But considering we've got 2 units available right now, Freya hasn't had much testing. Lenneth Valkyrie has had a lot of testing, and she does rate pretty highly. She is a pretty solid unit in arena, and she does have good DPS too, so for that reason I think this banner currently is probably a bit better than part 2, but part 2 is still a very solid banner. Freya's going to be a great mage for quite a long time, and this arc is still a decent one to have, but the arc isn't anything crazy. I think I would prefer the part 1 arc over the part 2 arc, but that's just what I think. I think everything is worth having, but smartest thing to do, spend your time and just do a few singles. If you get one thing from one of these banners, then move over to the next banner. That's the smartest thing to do. Let's say you get Lenneth from this banner and not the arc, you could then go to part 2 and you've got a higher chance to get something new, because if you were to continue on this banner, you could get a dupe of Valkyrie instead of the arc, so that unit dupe would have been Freya otherwise. So that's just what I think. But these banners last another 27 days, 16 hours, basically 28 days from now, and you've got so much time to save and decide on who you want to pull for, and we do get more tickets for part 3 and part 4. So, something to look forward to. You could get something from those tickets, and that could save some crystals if you care about trying to get everything, or if you just want to wait and there could be someone better. You don't know, but I still think it's a smart idea to save and wait for now. Anything else? Well, this event, I think this event is good, in my opinion. It's not really anything crazy, but they are updating this event every week, and there is a lot of materials you can get from this event, so I think it's great. Again, it's a normal boring event. Like, if you think about most phone games, they do have normal boring events. Even games like Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail that I both play, they do occasionally have boring events that aren't really much. There's basically every phone game ever made does have some kind of boring event, but just think of it positively, that it does allow you to get more materials and help boost your account further. So I still enjoy the events, and I think the good thing about this event is it does have some story to it. Even though it's kind of a basic story, I still like seeing it. It's okay. So far, Collab has been great. Luck hasn't been on my side too much, but hopefully that will improve. Maybe over the next week I can get Freya or the part 1 arc. That would be perfect, but I don't have any expectations. But there will be a big summon session on part 4, depending on how things go. I'll tell you my plan for right now. If I go back to the trading space quickly and show you how many medals I've got, we're going to be continue to saving these medals, and once it's reached part 4, we'll be doing the part 4 summons, and then using the medals to guarantee someone or a arc or something, and then continue to pull for everything else, and then hopefully from that we will be able to get everything. But I'm just hoping. That will be perfect. That's what I'm hoping for. Is I can already pity this, so that's fine. But if I get it from a single pull, then I have 200 medals to save for something else, like a different arc. So I really like this collab. I think they've done this collab pretty well. We've still got 2 more weeks left of new banners, and then we have another week or so after that to extend the event. So overall, I've been enjoying this event. It's just, I still wish there was more that I could do in the game, like with terms of end game content, but it's still, I can't talk anymore. I need to. It's still, you know, still fun to me, so I'm gonna leave it there. I don't think I can imagine any more talking on this stream. We finished covering everything, so I won't waste any more time. I will see you next Thursday for part 3, and that'll be quite interesting. Hopefully there's some unique skills and stuff on the arc, and hopefully the unit has some interesting skills as well. So I'll see you then. I will be adding the timestamps to this stream very soon today. I always do that, so look forward to that if you want to rewatch this or watch this later as a video. So I'll see you tomorrow. Actually, why did I say that? I mean, I'll see you next week on Thursday. Kind of mixing my words. My voice is going.